So, let's talk a little about a movie called Pixels.
Pixels!
Starring Adam Sandler.
And my favorite, Kevin James.
I don't like him at all.
You don't like him.
And a bunch of kind of cheap cash and cameos by a bunch of classic video game characters that everyone remembers. Here's the thing about this movie, though.
Well, okay.
Here's the thing.
Well, okay, let's start. You want to start with the plot or just go into it? The people don't. It's based upon the 2010 short film where aliens, as video games, try to take over the world, mass destruction.
Right. They see video games basically, and they look at it as a declaration of war, and they come down.
And thereby attack us with our creatures.
Yeah.
There's some logic there, I guess.
But you know, it's bad guys and good guys. Whatever.
Yeah.
So,
fuck it.
You know, it looks fucking awful, and I'm never going to go see it.
The visual effects look amazing, by the way. That's one thing. The visual effects, but then again, nowadays, that's the easiest thing to do in a movie with a big budget is do visual effects.
Maybe if I'm on acid and the sound's muted, but I'm never going to go see this, in all reality. I'm going to have to explain myself a little bit here. So, there's this particularly harsh review of the film by a fellow named MovieBob. I'm unaware of him, but apparently he's probably popular.
I've met MovieBob. He does very insightful movie reviews. I've seen one he did on Why Die Hard's a classic. It's like 30 minutes long, and he's done a review that's gone viral, basically tearing this movie to shreds.
So I watched it, and you know he in between bouts of extreme hyperbole, he makes some valid points based on what I can see, particularly. You know, the co-opting of a counterculture's culture for shameless money making, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of this vitriolic reaction to the movie kind of confounds me because we all knew when it was announced as a movie starring Adam Sandler, starring only the most popular video game characters from the 1980s, that this was going to be shit, utter shit. This is and. I know that there's people already fucking loading their guns and pointing them my way. It's different than... I mean, sure, I get hyperbolic about fucking Snyder doing the DC Universe. The difference is...
You're not a $150 million movie. That's the difference.
Well, the other difference is Batman is something that could be a good movie or a bad movie. Okay? You can look at Batman, and it can go either way in the hands of the right person. You look at something like a movie cash-in like this, where it's blatantly a commercial cash-in, you know it's going to be bad, so why are you even bothering?
Because it's part of the rage internet culture.
Yes.
I mean, MovieBob does good work, but I watched the review, and when literally the first sentence is, "I have no words," and then proceeds
to have 10 minutes worth of words,
and then proceed to literally have 15,000 words after that, explaining that you really have words. Let's relax a little bit. Let's just react. Let's take a step back. This isn't the death of video game culture. This isn't the death of the counterculture, you know, video game outlook. The mass appropriation of nerd culture has been happening for over a decade.
Yes, and that sucks, but it's not. This is not the pinnacle of it.
Walk into a fucking hot topic for the past 15 years, and that's the
25.
And that's the misappropriation of geek culture. You know, when you see, you know, Harley Quinn T-shirts being sold for $29.99 in the mall, you're saying that's okay, but this isn't all of a sudden. Just stop with the outrage. For God's sake, this isn't the end of the world. It's not like people are going to see this movie in the theater, the masses, and be like, oh, video games suck because it's an Adam Sandler movie. No, they're going to see this movie. If they're not into video games, they're going to forget about what the hell the movie was about 1 week afterwards.
I feel like
they're not going to associate it with Adam Sandler. They're not going to associate it with the bad movie. Hell, most of the people are going to see this in the theater and be like, oh, it's funny. I see Cuber. My kid might have remembered that from Wreck-It Ralph.
There are 3 people that are going to go see this movie. People who are attracted to the eye candy and the obvious pop culture references, and they're probably going to like it. The people who are into video games, who are a bit more open-minded, are perhaps going to go see it, get a couple chuckles out of it, and leave. Mm-hmm. And then there are the people, and I've seen far too many of them, who are going to go and see it specifically to piss themselves off. And this is where it differs. I'm not going to go see Batman v Superman. I'm not going to do it.
I might see it.
There's people out there who are going to see Pixels specifically to be angry about Pixels and then write about how angry they are about it on the internet.
This is a movie where I was out of it I mean, because now it's like every year Kevin James has to be in movies with Adam Sandler. When I read in a spoiler review, spoilers, that Kevin James is the president for no other reason than Kevin James is the president, so he can be in the movie, that's when I was out. Not that I was thinking this was a good movie to begin with, but if you're already setting the bar that low in terms of your narrative that, oh, Kevin James is the president, so somehow he's friends with Adam Sandler, and so they can fight together. It's like they took the Independence Day plot of Bill Pullman being the president, but at least he was a veteran that was like a pilot, and we'll just make him Kevin James shooting at centipedes coming out of the sky.
Well,
it's like, it's the laziest premise to begin with, and then going from there.
There was a quick excerpt from a review that I read that was something like, Adam Sandler takes another summer vacation with his friends and calls it a blockbuster movie or something like that.
Let's read some of the Rotten Tomatoes overviews here. They gave it, what is it at? 17%?
Yeah.
The critics' consensus is, much like the worst arcade games from the era that inspired it, Pixels has little replay value and is hardly worth a quarter. Ha ha ha. But then some of the individual ones, this is from Christopher Lawrence at Las Vegas Review-Journal. As bad as Pixels is, you have to hand it to Sandler for finally starring in a summer comedy that's more than just a thinly veiled and even more thinly scripted excuse for a vacation with his buddies.
I'm sorry, that's what I read. I phrased it wrong.
This is from Ed Whitfield. There's a certain honesty in its awfulness, a naked stupidity that many other summer movies would waste time trying to hide behind carefully prevised set-piece action and dropped-in character sketches. As this is from Andrea Chase, as tedious as watching someone else play Donkey Kong for an hour and a half. Someone who refuses to share the joystick and mocks you for asking. So it's basically, you want to look at this movie as kind of like a Ghostbusters meets video games, except none of the charm, humor, or wit.
Right.
That's what it is. But again, I'm not getting worked up about it more than the reaction that people think this is a big deal. To me, this is going to go down in the annals of history of the embarrassing movie he just did where they go to Africa for a vacation with Drew Barrymore 1 or 2 years ago. It is what it is.
I never knew anyone who's excited about this movie. When no one is excited about a movie, and yeah, sure, I'm using a broad term, but when no one is excited about a movie and yet people still feel the need to get outraged about it, it's ridiculous. When there are movies that some people are excited for and other people aren't, then there's going to be debate, and then the outcome can be debated. But this is just anger for the sake of anger.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it as Adam Sandler thinking, oh, I got to do my one summer movie year that's going to make me money for my production company. Oh, there's this cool short film. I'm going to buy the rights to it. I know retro gaming is getting popular. You have King of Kong. Hell, one of the characters, Peter Dinklage's character, looks like based on the guy in King of Kong.
Yeah.
You know, he's like an older game player from the early 80s, and that's what the premise of this. So I don't look at it as any sort of nefarious way for, oh, Adam Sandler's stealing our geek culture. It's already been stolen, people. It's been stolen far before this. Every time I get an email saying, oh, we have these t-shirts for sale that are just, ripped off concepts from old game designs. I mean, tons of people already making money off of this misappropriation of your culture. It's been happening forever.
The moment you could buy an Operation Ivy t-shirt at Spencer's in 1995 was the moment that happened.
Every toy guy or comic book seller that got into retro video games because he saw it as a moneymaker, he's already misappropriated the culture and is taking advantage of you. It's already been happening, people. Adam Sandler is no better or worse, and hell, I'd say Adam Sandler was naive to the backlash to this. He probably thought, oh, this is cute, I'm gonna have Pac-Man in my movie, Wreck-It Ralph was big a few years ago, hell, there's Fruit Loops commercials now with Mario on it, on TV. We're at the point now that this is like the Beatles to our generation. It's like, oh, I'm going to remember this when I'm 20 years later, and it's going to give me fuzzy memories. So whatever. Just stop with the fucking fake outrage, for God's sake. Just don't see the movie. Don't see it, and he won't try to make a bad movie like this again, hopefully, right? In theory? I don't know.
That doesn't actually work.
Okay.
Zack Snyder's still making films.